to look around all of this and think it started with some cellulite.
Sarah Blakely proudly asserts that she spends much of her day looking at women's backsides.
I do. It's part of my business. I am a professional at, making women look and feel great in their clothes, so I can't help but look at their backsides. We have them all down the hall, and it's so fun. You get to really see people's personality.
It began with $5,000 and what would turn into a billion-dollar idea.
I didn't get any outside money. I had $5,000 from selling fax machines. I didn't even know how to borrow money, Poppy. I've never taken a business class in my life. I mean, none.
Yet so many case studies have been written about you.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Take me to the idea moment.
So the idea moment actually happened before the idea because I had been manifesting and visualizing a different life for myself. I was selling fax machines door to door, and I specifically wrote down in my journal that I wanted to invent something that I could sell to millions of people, and I wanted the product to make people feel good. And one day, in a frustrated moment, couldn't figure out what to wear under my white pants, like so many women, I cut the feet out of control top pantyhose and threw them on under the pants, and they worked perfectly. They created the perfect canvas. They didn't leave any lines. I smoothed everything out, but they rolled up my legs all night. And so I said, I got to figure out how to make this stop comfortably below the knee and create a whole new type of undergarment for women that was in between traditional underwear that we had to choose from and the heavy-duty Shaper's girdles.
Blakely's mother drew the sketch for the first pair, but finding a manufacturer was anything but easy. Mill after mill turned her down.
Every time I heard a no, I would just keep going.
Once she finally got a yes, came the first sell.
The very first place I called was Neiman Marcus, and I just kept calling the buyer on the phone until she picked up. I just said, I'm Sarah Blakely. I invented a product that is going to change the way your customers wear clothes. Please give me 15 minutes of your time. And I said, I will fly to Dallas. And she said, if you're willing to fly here, I will give you 15 minutes. Wow. So I booked a flight, and halfway through telling her about the product, I mean, everything about her was perfect, right? I mean, her belt matched her pen, matched her shoes, and I was like highly intimidated sitting there with my old backpack. And I said, you know what? I think you just need to come with me to the bathroom.
What did she say?
In mid-pitch, and she went, excuse me? And I said, yes, just come with me to the bathroom. I'm going to show you what my product can do firsthand.
Now you'll find Spanx sold in 60 countries around the world.
Naming the invention was a process. I came up with really bad names for about a year, and I would write them on scrap pieces of paper in my car and at airports, and I just struggling with it.
Do you remember some of the words?
Yes. One of the worst runner-ups, and it was the runner-up to Spanx, was open-toed Delilahs. Sad.
It's bad.
I don't think you'd be interviewing me, Poppy, if I named this open-toed Delilahs.
Before founding the undergarment Spanx and the success that followed, Sarah Blakely was on anything but a clear path. From a stint as a stand-up comedian,
I would call myself a girl who really likes to challenge herself to do things that scare her.
to auditioning at Disney World.
I ended up at Disney World because I failed the LSAT, and I felt very sad that I most likely wasn't going to be heading off to law school. I am a terrible test taker. So I did what my parents said, of course, would be the most natural thing to do. And I got in my car and drove to Disney World and tried out to be goofy. And just to add, insult to injury, I'm too short to be goofy. So I just failed the LSAT. I went through all of the auditions to become a character, and you have to be 5'8" to be goofy. Wow. And I'm 5'6", so I'm the height of a chipmunk.
Oh, really?
Yes. So they wanted to make me a chipmunk.
Then she found herself selling fax machines by day and pursuing her Spanx dream by night.
My father, growing up, used to encourage my brother and me to fail. And that he would say at the dinner table, "What have you guys failed at this week?" Huh. And if we didn't have something to tell him, he would actually be disappointed. And I can remember saying, "Dad, I tried out for this and I was horrible," and he'd high-five me and say, "Way to go." And what he was doing was reframing my definition of failure. I didn't realize it at the time, but for my brother and myself, failure ended up becoming not trying versus the outcome.
And she quickly learned not to seek validation from others.
When I first created the idea for SPANX, I didn't tell a soul for 1 year. And the reason I didn't do that is because ideas are the most vulnerable in their infancy. And the moment you have an idea, it's human nature to turn to your husband, your wife, your coworker, and tell them your idea. And out of love and concern, oftentimes people will tell you the 2 or 3 things that they think maybe you should consider, and it stops people a lot of times often right in their tracks. So by not telling anybody my idea for 1 year, I left ego out of it. And I didn't have to spend the time defending my idea or explaining my idea. I spent all the time pursuing my idea.
Blakely has gone against the grain from day one.
When Richard Branson came out and announced that he was doing a version of a reality show, but he was looking for 18 entrepreneurs that would travel the world with him and do a business challenge in different parts of the world. And I, applied for it, and my lawyers begged me not to do it. And I actually took the contract. It was a 27-page contract, and I emailed it to my dad, who's a lawyer. And I said, Dad, I'm getting ready to sign this contract. Can you help me look through it and give me your thoughts? And all he wrote back was, Dear Sarah, no sane person would sign this. Love, Dad.
And you did it anyways.
That's all he wrote. So, yes.
And you signed it.
I signed it. So my dad, just like rolled his eyes. There she goes.
She goes and goes constantly.
I would say, in the beginning, it was just the all-consuming amount of time and energy that I was putting into it. And now it's really, now that I'm a mother of 3 boys, 6 and under, it's a lot about balance and trying to find the balance and figure out how, you find the time.
Does work-life balance exist?
I mean, I think work-life balance exists. I think we're all trying to achieve it. We all have different definitions of what works for us. I don't think there is a right and a wrong way to do it. I will just tell you I'm a work in progress.
And she lives by the motto, hire your weakness.
Lux leg.
Yes, the Lux leg, which is awesome.
Today, SPANX has expanded exponentially, focusing now on everyday. Can we see them?
Yes, of course they're going to flash you my SPANX font. Da-da-da. So
those are not just SPANX, those are leopard print.
Yeah, well, but that's because we're having so much fun. We're moving from occasion to everyday, and so we're offering all kinds of prints and different compression levels, some just everyday underwear, bras.
Blakely recently signed the Giving Pledge, started by Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, committing to giving away at least half of her wealth. So when did you know you'd hit it? When did you know you'd made it big? Cover of Forbes magazine? They call you a self-made billionaire? Was that one of the moments?
That was a moment.
Bill Gates calls? Was that a moment?
That's a moment. Those are all big moments from a girl who grew up on Clearwater Beach.
Very cool.
Yeah, because you can
really
see
working.
it.
Yeah.
It's emotional to be able to see what it's going to do. Wow.
And she wants much more than to see her company thrive.
As long as I can remember, I felt very compelled to help women. And I have had such extreme gratitude from an early age on being a woman born in America. I've been very acutely aware that I was born at the right time, in the right place, in the right country, and I would love to ensure that I can use my life and my success to help other women have the same opportunity, and then also help women everywhere to fulfill their best potential, because I think that the world needs it.
I think it really solves like a wardrobe problem, right?
Well, you've said your goal is to see women treated equally on this planet, and you admit you have your work cut out for you.
Well, my goal is for the male and female energy on the planet to become more balanced. So I feel that it has been grossly out of balance for a long time, and we're all suffering as a whole. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's about, what does that look like for the feminine to be not so suppressed and not, so squashed.
So not only are you this crazy successful entrepreneur, What's the best advice that you've received?
Someone told me that what you delegate is 80% as good as you would have done it yourself. Let it go.
Oh, wow.
I took inventory of what am I good at, what am I not good at, what do I, enjoy and don't enjoy, and they're usually the same thing. Ironically, like I was very clear in the first year I was not good at shipping and handling, and I wasn't good at, so many different things about managing the inventory, but I loved inventing the next idea. I loved the brand. I loved the way that I was communicating with consumers. So being able to free yourself up to do what you do best and let the people who do the other aspects do it.
And the best advice you've given?
I'm always, championing trust your gut and follow what you're passionate about. Don't be afraid of what you don't know. Let that become your greatest asset. Don't take no for an answer.
Keep going.
Keep going.